Welcome back, students. I am Bhavna, and today we will continue with our journey into the computer world. In today's video, we will be discussing the basics of hardware and software along with their components in brief. The group of physical or tangible components of a computer is called hardware. You may not be able to see all the hardware devices because they can be internal to the computer's casing. It includes input devices, output devices, memory, and central processing unit, and other physical parts of the computer system. Now, if you remember, we already discussed the components of hardware in video 1. So it's time for you to revise those. Tell me, is keyboard a hardware or not? Is graphic card a hardware or not? And lastly, is MS Office a hardware or not? Well, I hope you all answered those questions correctly. But for those who didn't, don't worry, we will get there. So, as for the correct answers, both keyboard and graphic card are examples of hardware, whereas the Microsoft Office is a software. Now, coming to what is software. A computer software is the set of instructions that directs a computer to perform a specific task or operation. They enable the user to interact with the computer. They tell the device what to perform and how to do it using a set of instructions. However, a software and hardware cannot function without each other. Hardware needs instructions to perform, while software needs a processor to instruct. Thus, they are dependent on each other. Now, let us discuss the various components of a computer hardware. The diagram on your screen shows all the elements that are there and will be covered throughout our course. Hardware consists of the following components. The first one being peripheral devices. So, peripheral devices are the ones that provide input or output to the computer externally. They are auxiliary devices meant to form a connection with the device externally via a cable or Bluetooth to function. And some examples are mouse, headphones, etc. Computer peripherals further are subdivided into input devices and output devices. As we already know, input devices allow the users to give data or information to the computer to perform a task. Keyboards, joysticks, mouse, etc. are some of the examples. Now, output devices provides information of completed task related to the data sent by the input device. The computer then receives the data from the input devices, executes the task accordingly, and provides output using the output devices. Like printers, monitors, headphones, etc. are some of the commonly known output devices. Next up, we have secondary storage devices. These are the devices where all the data on the computer goes. These devices allow users to access all the data safely and without any trouble. Secondary storage device is one of the core components of the computer system. Some examples are hardware drives, which is USB, commonly known as pen drives, memory cards, etc. Now moving ahead, we have the internal components. Internal means inside, and as the name suggests, the components that are inside the computer case are internal components. So all the parts of the motherboard and the system are internal components. Computer memory is internal to the system. Many devices become a part of the system from inside using the ribbon cables and insertion cards. Some examples are RAM, CPU, etc. Now, don't you all think how important is hardware for a computer? Do all the computers need hardware to function? Now, imagine using a computer without a mouse. Will you be able to use it efficiently? Or imagine a computer without a working keyboard. Will you be able to type properly? No, right? So the need for the hardware in a computer system depends on which device we are talking about. Devices like hard drive, keyboard, memory, etc. are essential to function. Their absence or fault in any of these can lead to errors in the computer system. However, adding external devices like speakers, modem, etc. is not integral but can definitely improve user experience. So the software enables users to interact with hardware and complete the task on the system. Now let us quickly get into understanding what all components are in a software. As already discussed, software is a set of instructions. The software developers design the programs in such a way that they are instructions for all kind of tasks. This is done by a high-level programming language, which is then translated into binary form for the computer to read. As we have already discussed in the previous video, the computer only understands binary language, which consists of 0 and 1. The diagram on your screen shows two categories of software, namely system software and application software. The system software controls the internal operations of a computer and is further divided into categories: system management program and developing software. System management software are used to manage the computer system. For example, operating system such as Windows is used to operate the computer. Developing software are softwares that are used to develop programs for the computer to execute. For example, programming languages such as C++, Java, Python are developing softwares. Similarly, the application software carries out necessary operations for a specific application and is further divided into two categories: general purpose software and specific purpose software. Examples of general purpose software are word processor, spreadsheets, and some specific purpose software are reservation system, billing system, respectively. Now tell me, what is presentation software like MS PowerPoint? Is it a general purpose or specific purpose? Absolutely correct. Presentation softwares like MS PowerPoint are general purpose software because they can be used in multiple ways. Now, what is a flight booking software? Yes, it is a specific purpose software because it can be only used to book a flight. All these components will be discussed in detail in our next video. So now, a similar question pops in our mind about software, and that is, can a computer run without a software? Mostly no. A computer cannot function without installing a software. In the absence of an operating system, the computer is likely to work with error or without output. Having a software allows it to explore supplementary capacities. Users can save time with faster results using a software. A word processor or Microsoft Word is not necessary but is helpful for creating documents. Thus, the importance of software is unavoidable and we will keep using it for our daily tasks to reduce the time. Now let us discuss the relationship between hardware and software. We stated above that the hardware and software are dependent on each other. We will now be justifying the statement by establishing a relationship between them. Firstly, the software needs the support of hardware to utilize its features. Only the instructions will be of no good until we have someone to do it. Right? Hardware needs programs to operate which only software can provide. For a specific task, multiple software needs to be loaded in the hardware to perform. Moreover, software is an interface that allows the users to use the hardware. Now that we have understood how hardware and software are related, let us discuss the difference between the two. Let's discuss the type. Hardware is the physical part of the device that takes care of the data processing, whereas the software is internal to the computer that uses a set of instructions to command the device for different tasks. Now the development. Hardware is manufactured, whereas the software is programmed by developers. Language. Hardware requires binary language to function, whereas the software relies on high-level programming languages such as Java, Python, and C++. Now let's talk about the dependency. Both are interdependent on each other. Hardware requires software to execute the task and software requires hardware to process the information. Tangibility. We can physically touch the hardware whereas we cannot physically touch a software. Now use. Hardware is designed to work for most of the computers and generally have a uniform architecture. Software, on the other hand, is designed according to computer system and user preferences. Components. Hardware is made up of ICs, diodes, switches, etc. Whereas a software is made up of numbers, alphabets, symbols, etc. Now let's talk about the faults. Hardware faults are hard to find and are very random, whereas the software faults usually troubleshoots automatically. Now let's talk about the durability. Since hardware are physical in nature, they depreciate over time, whereas a software can be updated with time. Now replacement. In case a hardware is damaged, a new device is required for replacement. But in case of damaged software, we can simply reinstall the software. Some common hardware are keyboard, monitor, printer, CPU, etc. Some of the commonly used softwares are MS Word, Photoshop, MySQL, etc. Let us now conclude. These are the two most fundamental concepts of computer aptitude. Not just for competitive exams, but these are useful to understand the daily computer tasks as well. This is why government exams like UPSC, RRB, RBI, banking, etc. have this either in their computer aptitude or general knowledge section. All the applicants should know about these terms to improve their practical skills and their exam results. In today's video, we learned about the basics of hardware and software, the different components of hardware and software in brief, the relationship between hardware and software, and the difference between both of them. We believe you were able to understand the basic of hardware and software, and we will meet again in the next video to discuss the components of these in detail.